Systemic biases. When multiple editors contribute to one topic or set of topics, systemic bias may arise, due to the demographic backgrounds of the editors. In 2011, Wales claimed that the unevenness of coverage is a reflection of the demography of the editors, citing for example biographies of famous women through history and issues surrounding early childcare. 48. The October 22, 2013, essay by Tom Simonite in MIT's Technology Review titled "The Decline of Wikipedia" discussed the effect of systemic bias and policy creep on the downward trend in the number of editors. 49. Systemic bias on Wikipedia may follow that of culture generally, vague, for example favoring certain nationalities, ethnicities or majority religions. 219. It may more specifically follow the biases of Internet culture, inclining to be young, male, English-speaking, educated, technologically aware, and wealthy enough to spare time for editing. Biases, intrinsically, may include an overemphasis on topics such as pop culture, technology, and current events. 219. Taha Yasseri of the University of Oxford, in 2013, studied the statistical trends of systemic bias at Wikipedia introduced by editing conflicts and their resolution. 220-221, his research examined the counterproductive work behavior of edit warring. Yasseri contended that simple reverts or undo operations were not the most significant measure of counterproductive behavior at Wikipedia and relied instead on the statistical measurement of detecting reverted pairs or mutually reverting edit pairs. Such a mutually reverting edit pair is defined where one editor reverts the edit of another editor who then, in sequence, returns to revert the first editor in the mutually reverting edit pairs. The results were tabulated for several language versions of Wikipedia. The English Wikipedia's three largest conflict rates belong to the articles George W. Bush, Anarchism, and Mohammed. 221. By comparison, for the German Wikipedia, the three largest conflict rates at the time of the Oxford study were for the articles covering Croatia, Scientology, and 9/11 conspiracy theories. 221. Researchers from Washington University developed a statistical model to measure systematic bias in the behavior of Wikipedia's users regarding controversial topics. The authors focused on behavioral changes of the encyclopedia's administrators after assuming the post, writing that systematic bias occurred after the fact. 222-223. Explicit content. See also, Internet Watch Foundation and Wikipedia and reporting of child pornography images on Wikimedia Commons. Wikipedia censorship redirects here. For the government censorship of Wikipedia, see Censorship of Wikipedia. For Wikipedia's policy concerning censorship, see Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not censored. Wikipedia has been criticized for allowing information about graphic content. Articles depicting what some critics have called objectionable content, such as feces, cadaver, human penis, vulva, and nudity, contain graphic pictures and detailed information easily available to anyone with access to the Internet, including children. The site also includes sexual content such as images and videos of masturbation and ejaculation, illustrations of zoophilia, and photos from hardcore pornographic films in its articles. It also has non-sexual photographs of nude children. The Wikipedia article about Virgin Killer, a 1976 album from the German rock band Scorpions, features a picture of the album's original cover, which depicts a naked prepubescent girl. The original release cover caused controversy and was replaced in some countries. In December 2008, access to the Wikipedia article Virgin Killer was blocked for 4 days by most Internet service providers in the United Kingdom after the Internet Watch Foundation, IWF, decided the album cover was a potentially illegal indecent image and added the article's URL to a blacklist it suppliers to British internet service providers. 224. In April 2010, Sanger wrote a letter to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, outlining his concerns that two categories of images on Wikimedia Commons contain child pornography, and were in violation of U.S. federal obscenity law. 225-226, Sanger later clarified that the images, which were related to pedophilia and one about Lilicon, were not of real children, but said that they constituted obscene visual representations of the sexual abuse of children, under the Protect Act of 2003. 227, that law bans photographic child pornography and cartoon images and drawings of children that are obscene under American law. 227, Sanger also expressed concerns about access to the images on Wikipedia and schools. 228, Wikimedia Foundation spokesman Jay Walsh strongly rejected Sanger's accusation. 229, saying that Wikipedia did not have material we would deem to be illegal. If we did, we would remove it. 229, following the complaint by Sanger, Wales deleted sexual images without consulting the community. After some editors who volunteered to maintain the site argued that the decision to delete had been made hastily, Wales voluntarily gave up some of the powers he had held up to that time as part of his co-founder status. He wrote in a message to the Wikimedia Foundation mailing list that this action was in the interest of encouraging this discussion to be about real philosophical, content issues, rather than be about me and how quickly I acted. 230, critics, including Wikipedia accuracy, noticed that many of the pornographic images deleted from Wikipedia since 2010 have reappeared. 231,